Hare Krishna, my friends. Welcome to Bhaktiville on our Friday night reading of Sri Brahma Samhita. Last week was an exercise in details. While reading, we referred back and forth from the text to our cosmology illustration chart. Oh, so helpful. But at times it was quite confusing and hilarious. There are so many details and so much to try and understand. It became clearly evident what the meaning of inconceivable really is. But we will forge onward with the help of Srila Prabhupada to try and understand some part of this cosmic puzzle. In fact, I was reading today, and Prabhupada said, this is very difficult to understand, so we just have to accept it. I was like, oh, okay, I'm not going to puzzle through this. I'm just going to read it and keep going. So let's continue. We're on page 33 of the PDF on text 15. Is that right? Text 15? Let me double check. I may not have fixed that in my notes. Text 15. Yep, text 15. Sorry about that. It didn't sound right for a second there. All right, so please let me first offer my obeisances to Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at His lotus feet. And by offering our obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, we also pray that He will help us. And by offering our obeisances, also we invoke auspiciousness. Also, let me offer my obeisances to you. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. I also offer my respectful obeisances unto the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just like desire trees and can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. And then there's my singing of Jaya Radha Madhava. And you can sing it along with me. That would make me feel a lot better, knowing that people who are listening are singing. Have we got it up on our board there, Bhaktivinoda? We do. Okay. So here we go. And I'm just going to sing it straight through with no call and response verses. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Channa Balaba Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Rajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari. It's all there. It's all there in that song. All right, so we are on page 33 of the PDF, text 15. Dr. Minulas has something to say here. He says he was in Vrindavan while we were singing that. Cool. All right, so text 15. So I was thinking, while I was reading today, we used to always sing this a lot, at least 3 times, each verse, at least 3 times. What do you think, Bhaktivinoda? Should I just sing it 3 times? And then, like the first time you kind of trip over stuff, and the second time you get a little better at it, and the third time you're really right doing it. Yes? He says, okay. All right. So we'll sing each verse 3 times. And these are not difficult verses right now. Oh, at first he says he thought no, and then he changed his mind to yes. No, it's really seriously, it's like I said, the first time you kind of trip over stuff, and the second time you're kind of, yeah, okay, I got this, and the third time you're an expert. Dr. Mimilis keeps sending messages to me. He says I had a good reason. So then he said that, yes. Okay, text 15. So you can just sing along with me there. You have the text in front of you because you have the link to the PDF so you can see what we're reading. Or you may have the book. So text 15. Vamangad asrajad vishnum dakshinangat prajapatim jyotirlingamayam shambhum kurchadeshad avasrijat. Vamangad asrajad vishnum dakshinangat prajapatim jyotirlingamayam shambhum kurchadeshad avasrijat. Vamangad asrajad vishnum dakshinangat prajapatim jyotirlingamayam shambhum kurchadeshad avasrijat. And there we've got it 3 times in a row. Good job, everybody. Dr. Mimilis again texting me. I don't know what I'm singing. You don't know what I'm singing? I'm singing text 15 on page 33. He says, oh, okay. Even though okay. All right, word for word. Vama Angat, from his left limb, Asrajat, he created, Vishnum, Lord Vishnu, Dakshina Angat, from his right limb, Prajapatin, Hiranyagarbha Brahma, Jyoti Linga, the divine masculine manifested halo, Mayam, comprising Shambhu, Kurchadeshat, from the space between his 2 eyebrows, Avasrijat, he created. Translation. The same Mahavishnu created Vishnu from his left limb, Brahma, the first progenitor of beings, from his right limb, and from the space between his 2 eyebrows, Shambhu, the divine masculine manifested halo. All right. So we've got those 3. Vishnu, Brahma, Shiva. They're all there. This is how they came about. Purport. The divine Purusha, lying in the milk ocean, the same who is the regulator of all individual souls, is Vishnu. And Hiranyagarbha, the seminal principle, the portion of the Supreme Lord, is the prime progenitor who is different from the 4-faced Brahma. So let me just digress for a moment. So Kshirodakashayi Vishnu is the indwelling witness of the individual living entity, so Paramatma there. Whereas Garbhodakshayi Vishnu is the indwelling witness of the aggregate of all living entities. So just so that that's perfectly clear. It's not really clear, but it is clear. So there are different levels and gradations of these Vishnus. And we were just talking, Bhaktiville and I, about the Vishnu, all the different Vishnus. They're all completely same potency as Krishna, right? But they all just have different jobs. And some have different flavors. And so Bhaktiville asks, and the form of Krishna that is in our heart? Yes, that one. And we'll get to that. He's mentioned here in one of the verses we're reading tonight. Okay? All right. So this same Hiranyagarbha is the principle of seminal creating energy of every Brahma belonging to each of the infinity of universes, So Hiranyagarbha is born from the egg. So when you think of Hiranyagarbha, you're going to think of all those little swirling eggs. So if we look at our picture over there, the bottom half, there's Vishnu laying on the ocean, and there are all of these little golden eggs floating out from him, from his pores and his breath. So those are the eggs, the golden eggs, which we read about last week. All right. The divine masculine manifested halo, Shambhu, is the plenary manifestation of his prototype Shambhu, the same as the primary divine masculine generative symbol Shambhu, whose nature has already been described. So here we're running into copies. Copies? Is that the right word? Copies. There are different levels. There's this level of the three of them, and then there's another level of the three of them. Just like the Chaturvyuha, the 4 expansions, now we've got the 3 who are doing the same kind of thing. All right. Vishnu is the integral subjective portion of Mahavishnu. Hence, he is the great Lord of all the other lords. The progenitor, Brahma, and Shambhu are the dislocated portions of Mahavishnu, so separate. They are gods with delegated functions, which I was just referring to, the functions. His own potency being on the left side of Godhead, Vishnu appears in the left limb of Mahavishnu from the unalloyed essence of his spiritual chit potency. Vishnu, who is Godhead himself, is the inner guiding oversoul of every individual soul. He is the personality of Godhead described in the Vedas as being the measure of a thumb. He is the nourisher. The karmis, the elevationists, worship him as Narayana, the Lord of sacrifice, and the yogis desire to merge their identities in him as Paramatma by the process of their meditative trance. And we just actually talked about Krishna being the size of your thumb in your heart. We just talked about that on Tuesday in our Bhagavad Gita class. All right. So if it's not perfectly clear, don't worry. It's mind-boggling. Bhaktiville says, sometimes I think that last one is what I try to do sometimes. What? That you try to merge your identity with Paramatma? Oh, yeah, no, don't do that. He's your friend. Paramatma is your friend. He's your inner guide. He's the person that when you ask questions, he's the one who answers them and gives you the answer. And he's the one who instructs you. He's Chaitya Guru, who will guide you. Like, there are so many stories about yogis who are illiterate, but are completely self-realized and know the philosophy like nobody's business, right? They're just so excellent at everything about it, even though they've never read a thing. So it's Chaitya Guru, that Guru Krishna, Paramatma in your heart, who is giving those instructions. Bhaktiville says, it's very enticing to merge with Paramatma. It's peaceful. Yes, it's peaceful. But that's part of the lure of the Mayavadis, is that you obliterate your personality and, you don't have to be responsible for anything. You can just merge. But, being a devotee, being a servant of Krishna, being his friend, being his lover, being him, being the one who is loved. There's personality involved. There's responsibility involved. There's action. There's things you want to do for him, which you can't do if you're nothing. You can't do anything if you're nothing. And we take great satisfaction because it's part of our inherent being. We take great satisfaction doing things for people, doing things for Krishna. So there is anxiety in the spiritual realm. I'm not going to lie to you about that. Plenty of anxiety there. But there's anxiety related to Krishna. Where did he go? You know, the gopis are in great anxiety. Where did he go? He was just here a minute ago, and now he's gone. You know, or the cowherd boys. What is Krishna doing? Oh my God, he's walking into the mouth of that giant snake. You know, that's anxiety. So there's plenty of anxiety there. But none of them are thinking, oh, I'm going to die. They're thinking about Krishna. Their anxiety is Krishna-centered. All right, text 16. Okay, we're going to do the same. It's only one line, 2 lines in the transliteration, so we'll do it 3 times. Ahankaratmakam vishvam tasmaretat yajayata. Ahankaratmakam vishvam tasmaretat yajayata. Ahankaratmakam vishvam tasmaretat yajayata. There it is. Ahankara, the mundane egotistic principle. Atmakam, enshrining. Vishvam, universe. Tasmat, from that Shambhu. Etat, this. Vyajayata, has originated. Translation. The function of Shambhu, this is Lord Shiva, in relation to jivas, is that this universe, enshrining the mundane egotistic principle, has originated from Shambhu. Purport. The basic principle is the Supreme Lord himself, who is the embodiment of the principle of existence of all entities, devoid of separating egotisms. I think I missed a verb in there somewhere. The basic principle is the Supreme Lord himself, who is the embodiment of the principle of existence of all entities, devoid of separating egotisms. There we go. In this mundane world, the appearance of individual entities as separated egotistic symbols is the limited, perverted reflection of the unalloyed spiritual chit potency. And as representing the primal masculine divine generative function, Shambhu, it is united to the accommodating principle, namely the mundane female organ, which is the perverted reflection of the spiritual chit potency, Ramadevi. Trying to think if I want to say anything about all of this. No, I'm going to keep going. At this function, Shambhu is nothing but the mere material causal principle embodying the extension in the shape of ingredient as matter. Again, when in course of the progressive evolution of mundane creation, each universe is manifested, then, in the principle of Shambhu, born of the space between the 2 eyebrows of Vishnu, there appears the manifestation of the personality of Rudra. Yet under all circumstances, Shambhu fully enshrines the mundane egotistic principle. The innumerable jivas, as principal particles emanating from the oversoul in the form of pencils of rays of effulgence. Remember, we ran into that word pencils a long time ago. So just small shafts of rays of effulgence have no relation with the mundane world. when they come to know themselves to be eternal servants of the Supreme Lord. They are then incorporated into the realm of Vaikuntha. But when they desire to lord it over Maya, forgetting their real identity, the egotistic principle Shambhu, entering into their entities, makes them identify themselves as separated enjoyers of mundane entities. Hence, Shambhu is the primary principle of the egotistic mundane universe and of perverted egotism in jivas that identifies itself with their limited material bodies. Okay, so it's Shambhu and his it's his job to create these ingredients so that we separate ourselves from Krishna when actually we're not separate. But we identify with he says at the very end, identify with our limited material bodies. Bhaktiville says, it sounds kind of awful. We are awful creatures. Well, no, it's not that we're awful. That's the setup. It's like you take somebody and you put them in the middle of a party. You know, which way are they going to go? We're marginal entities. We can go either way. We can go and identify with material life, or we can go the other way and identify with our spiritual self. But we came here of our own accord. No, we didn't come here of our own accord. We were created this way. We were just kind of plopped in here. That's a whole nother 5 classes about the origin of the spirit soul. So we're not going to go there right now because it tends to be very, very problematic. But we're just kind of plopped in here, and these are the parameters. There's Shambhu has created all this stuff here, and you can do that if you want, or you can reject all of that, and we've got Krishna and Radha over here, and Lord Chaitanya, all this over here. You can go either way. You're walking the fence. You can go either way. We're marginal potencies. It's like a symbol of our existence. What, the fence? What's the symbol of our existence? Bhaktiville is typing in chat. The process of creation. Yes, the process of creation. Exactly. It is a symbol of our existence. It's all map. It's the map. This is the map. Like we look at a map of the earth or a map of your neighborhood. If you go to the beach, how do you get home? Well, you have to go down First Street, and then you have to turn on, Prahlad Street, and then you have to go up to 12th, and then turn, and then like that. So this is a map. This is a map, the process of creation, and you can see where you fit in. And we're in the bottom half of that, or the bottom part of that diagram. We're in the big bubble, and there's a lotus flower, and we're right below that in the middle. Or right in the middle planets. Bhaktiville says, but we recapitulate this in ourselves now. This is a lot like biology. Yes, it is a lot like biology, and we mentioned last time that this is the science of self-realization. This is it. This is the science part. It is just like biology class. It's just like science class. It's so specific and so it can be really understandable, really, if you map it against biology, because I think you're right. It is a lot like biology. All right, so Shambhu's supplying these primary principal ingredients of ego. That's his job, is setting up those subtle elements. All right, text 17. Shall we do text 17? Yes, text 17 is somewhat short. So we'll do 17. Yes, last one. And again, we'll do this 3 times. Ata taistri vidaya veshaya lilam udva ata kila yoga nidra bhagavati tasya shri iva sangata. Ata taistri vidaya veshaya lilam udva ata kila yoga nidra bhagavati tasya shri iva sangata. Atatai Sri Vidaya Veshaya Leelam Udva Atakila Yoga Nidra Bhagavati Tasya Shri Eva Sangata. I do like singing it 3 times. Really, the last one is much better. All right, synonyms. Ata, thereupon. Tai, with those. Trividhai, threefold. Veshai, forms. Leelam, pastimes. So I just want to say, when there's a long mark over a vowel, you just give it a tick longer to say it. So instead of saying lilam, we would say lilam. Just a tick longer for each one of those vowels. Udvataha, carrying on. Kila, indeed. Yoganidra, yoganidra. Bhagavati, full of the ecstatic trance of eternal bliss. Tasya, of him. Shri, the goddess of fortune. Eva, like. Sangata, consorted with. Translation. Thereupon, the same great personal Godhead, assuming the threefold forms of Vishnu, Prajapati, and Shambhu, entering into the mundane universe, plays the pastimes of preservation, creation, and destruction of this world. This pastime is contained in the mundane world. Hence, it being perverted, or mirror-like, the Supreme Lord, identical with Mahavishnu, prefers to consort with the goddess Yoganidra, the constituent of his own spiritual chit potency, full of the ecstatic trance of eternal bliss appertaining to his own divine personality. I'm going to read 2 purports to this verse because I found the purport in Narayan Maharaj's book also helpful to understand. All right, so here's Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's purport. The dislocated portions of the divinity, namely Prajapati and Shambhu, both identifying themselves as entities who are separate from the divine essence, sport with their respective non-spiritual Achyut consorts, namely Savitri Devi with Prajapati and Uma Devi with Shambhu, the perverted reflections of the spiritual chit potency. The Supreme Lord Vishnu is the only Lord of the spiritual chit potency, Rama or Lakshmi. So Rama has a long A, so feminine. Okay, we chant Hare Rama, short A. All right, and here's the purport from the other book. This current verse describes the Leela of the Brahma, Vishnu, and Shambhu, who have entered the material universe. Bhagavan Vishnu performs the tasks of creating, maintaining, and annihilating the material world by entering the universe in the 3 forms, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshvara. Here, Yoga Nidra Bhagavate Tasya Shri Eva Sangata indicates that Because Brahma and Shambhu have a self-conception of being separate from the essential reality of Bhagavan, they sport with their respective aspects of the inferior potency, namely Savitri and Uma, who are the shadow forms of the transcendental potency. However, Bhagavan Vishnu associates or sleeps, he's sleeping there in the ocean with Bhagavati, Mahayoganidra, who, being the partial manifestation of Rama Devi or Sri Lakshmi, is the personification of mystical absorption in his own intrinsic bliss. The expression Shir Eva means that this Rama Devi is an expansion of the original Lakshmi Devi, who reigns in Vaikuntha. So a little more information in that purport, which I found to be a little bit more expanding on this purport. So a little bit more information there. So we're going to stop there because we've just been chatting all night long, and I don't know. Well, I think we should do the next one. It's only one line. It's only one purport. One line of purport. Bhaktiville says, just today I was thinking that biology is the hardest science to equate in any way to spiritual because it can explain everything. But then here is the analogy to biology. Right after I was thinking about it. So we do come into contact with Vishnu in his various forms. Yes. And let me just reiterate about Chaitya there in your heart. So these questions come up and boom, there's an answer. There's something that will illuminate or explain or expand on something. So once you're connected, he says, that's why I told you, yes. Once you're connected with Krishna and you're asking and you're chanting and you're doing all these things, these answers just come. It's so amazing. And so that's you're having this ongoing conversation and relationship with Krishna. It just keeps going, keeps flowing. It's gives me chills. It's such an amazing relationship. All right, so this one has a one-line purport, so we can just push through this. So we'll sing this 3 times, and then we'll go through it. Si srikshayam tato nabes tasya padmam viniryayo tannalam himanalinam brahmanolokam adbhutam. Si srikshayam tato nabes tasya padmam viniryayo tannalam himanalinam brahmanolokam adbhutam. Si srikshayam tato nabes tasya padmam viniryayo tannalam himanalinam brahmanolokam adbhutam. Synonyms. Si srikshayam, when there was the will to create, tataha, then, nabehe, from the navel, tasya, of him, padmam, a lotus, viniryayo, yayao, came out, tadnalam, its stem, hemanalinam, like a golden lotus. So hema is gold. Brahmana, of Brahma, lokam, the abode, adbhutam, wonderful. Translation. When Vishnu, lying in the ocean of milk, wills to create this universe, a golden lotus springs from his navel pit. The golden lotus with its stem is the abode of Brahma, representing Brahmaloka or Satyaloka. Purport. Hema, or gold, here means the dim reflection of pure cognition. Dim reflection of pure cognition. So yeah, there's like mist everywhere. Keep cleaning that mirror. Keep chanting. Keep cleaning that mirror so you can see who you really are, right? All right, my friends. Any more questions, analogies, realizations you want to add? No, he says. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for letting me do this. I'm very indebted to you all. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.